I started in this field, the medical devices were very much of a traditional mechanical nature. And what I've seen over the years and the evolution of technology is that we're moving much more into a digital space. There's software as a medical device. We have digital surgery, which includes robotic systems. And this is really, bringing a demand for a much different skill set. It's a blend of engineering, it's a blend of tech skills from the IT space. So it really is starting to move into something that's quite exciting and something that we probably couldn't have imagined only a few years ago.
Another trend in the medical device space that is very linked to technology is the ability to personalize patient care. So, technology is giving us the ability to learn more about the patient before they go through a medical procedure and really help prepare them for it. So, prepare their body, prepare them mentally, go through the procedure, and then come out on the other side and know exactly what else you need to do and have it be a pleasant overall healthcare experience and really feel like everything about it was tailored for you. It's a really exciting trend that makes me in the healthcare industry feel good about how we're serving people.
And also the fact that this concept of value beyond product is becoming more and more important. And basically, what that means is our healthcare system as a whole is looking for ways and innovation and ideas or programs that mean that patients receive optimal care with minimal cost, but have greater expansion of outcomes. So, through a lot of different novel ways, looking at things like length of stay in a hospital, as an example, or looking at rationalizing perhaps the number of options or devices that are used in surgery, are able to get us to this point of providing value beyond just a product.
We also have the new technologies of additive manufacturing, like 3D printing. We happen to have a 3D printer in the office so that we can use it for concept development with surgeons, which really aids us in our ability to communicate with surgeons, talk about actual user intent and feedback, and get that reactive sort of understanding from both parties. And now we see a lot of collaborative digital meeting tools that are coming on board because of not just because of COVID-19, but also because teams are becoming decentralized. We see teams, I work with teams regularly, not only in Asia and the Asia Pacific region, but also in the UK. Last night I was on a call with Europe, and they are able to treat the local community as another part of their design center with the new tools that we have.
So there's a couple of trends which I'm seeing emerge over the last few years around people's career choices and the pathways to STEM. In some cases, someone who has graduated with a science degree, I'm seeing them actually sitting in the technology leadership areas because the science background provides a really good foundation to data interrogation. I'm seeing people come from marketing backgrounds into technology because they understand the socio-technology components of reaching more customers, of reaching the audience. I've seen a diversity occurring as a trend. And so it's not that today you might be graduating in science or tech, engineering, maths, manufacturing, and design, but don't feel that that's your set course for the rest of your life. It's the foundation that you've achieved in STEM, which sets you up for such a career diversity that you would not have had otherwise. So don't feel today that you're graduating with a technology degree that you may not go into an engineering part of a business or a, manufacturing part of the business, because everything's reliant on that foundation to do something different. So my advice is be open to career diversity and use the foundation that you've created, which is just fabulous in STEM, and take that forward to wherever it's going to lead you.
So, people might have heard of using robots to perform technical surgical procedures. And to some people, that makes them nervous, but to others, that makes them more precise. And that space is still being defined, and the skills and qualifications needed to build those robots, to manufacture those robots, to develop the software and validate the software and make sure that it works exactly the same way every single time is really critical. And a big part of that is theater costs. So the cost of running and operating theater for one procedure or for an entire day is getting to be astronomical, and that's a global issue in healthcare. So a lot of the changes that we're seeing in the industry are related to bringing those costs down while still maintaining the same level of care, but in the long term, reduce some of the costs and the burden on our governments and on insurance and healthcare in general.
So, as we talk about the increasing complexity and the evolving technologies when it comes to medical devices, we also have to consider healthcare affordability being a significant challenge for governments. And so we play a key role in supporting them in that. So one area, aside from my function, that I see, growing strongly within the industry is health economics. There is a lot of focus on being able to develop models that can prove a device will actually deliver efficiencies to the healthcare system.
Our industry it changes dramatically, and we see a lot of new people joining into STEM, and there's always a need for new engineers, new scientists, new researchers in our industry. And that's because there's a dramatic shift particularly speaking from a biomedical background, there is always more reliability and responsibility required on medical devices and pharmaceuticals. In my field, back in the day, you could see a surgeon developing their own instrument systems that they would use in theatre on patients, and those days are long and gone because we have far more regulation and control about can a surgeon bend a retractor if it suits them. So you can imagine that your local mechanic could bend a spanner if they can to reach a difficult bolt or a difficult nut. Surgeons don't have that ability. We need to be able to demonstrate effective tools and reliable tools that aren't going to create patient risk. And that's why we need engineers, researchers, testers. We need these people to be confident that the medical devices we're putting out in the field are reliable and aren't going to harm anyone.
So if we think about the healthcare sector, there's some significant changes that everyone's going through at the moment. And if we think about the area that I'm working in at the moment, in medical devices, it was mechanical engineering that medical devices was founded on. So it was all about products and physical creation. Well, if you step into now, it's actually more found on software. So software engineering. So as we create technology solutions which are founded in healthcare, we're going from a med devices, mechanical engineering, into medical technology, which is software engineering. So you can see how the trends are actually shifting. And you could argue that, the socialization and the consumerization of technology has helped do that. It's actually the foundations of tech that have enabled us to look at healthcare differently. And so, more so these days, it's about the entire ecosystem around a patient as opposed to the ecosystem inside the patient. So, I think you'll find over time, and same with the Industrial Revolution, as we move into more of a information age, things have changed as they've gone along. And as we move through again into the next revolution, it's going to change again. So we've talked about the shortage of supply into technology careers at this point and how great it is to be coming out as a graduate with a STEM qualification. I think one of the things, if I was going to give any kind of advice into where to focus as you're coming out and you're looking at different areas, definitely in the data domain. I mean, data is the new oil. It's where we're going to deliver all of our insights. So if you have a good foundation in data, especially in tech, I can see that your career is going to go from strength to strength. From an analytics perspective, it's another component of, I guess, understanding data as well. So there's a couple of deep dive areas that you can go into with your technology career. Data and analytics would be one of them. I think how you shape the user experience is another. So 'cause these are the things that organizations are looking for now. And then clearly, I've touched on soft skills as a key element. You need to be able to sell your idea. So make sure that you look at a skill around storytelling.
When I consider the skills gap that I have in my team, I think about the need to employ people that come from a different background. Initially, we used to focus on science and engineering backgrounds, but I think we need to, focus on more of a technology background, people who actually understand what software does and can tell me what software does.
So I think the future for hiring for sales roles in medical devices, because the landscape's changing and the environment's changing so rapidly, products are getting more and more technical, very clinical, and very specific, particularly in the areas that we're exploring with robotic surgery and having a background and a real understanding of software, robotics, AI, and how that translates to the operating theatre or translates to a surgeon using it would be incredibly important. So I think even people coming from an engineering or biomedical engineering background, being able to understand the product or the device from an engineering or conceptual point of view, but then being able to relay information and communicate information very clearly to surgeons about it is going to be a skill that we will be looking for hugely.